Were you one of the thousands, maybe millions, who tried to get an NES Classic last year? Maybe you scoured the internet, even lined up in front of a retailer hours before opening, and chances are, you still didn't get one. Nintendo went on to baffle people by discontinuing the NES Classic shortly after it launched, leaving many out in the cold, and guess what? They're looking to do it all over again this year with the SNES Classic. Yes, Nintendo confirmed this yesterday that the SNES Classic will be coming later this year, and like its predecessor, has an outstanding catalog if I do say so myself. Of course, the staples like Super Mario World and Super Metroid, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past made the cut, but some surprises, at least for me, included games like Super Mario RPG, Secret of Mana, and until now the never officially released Star Fox 2. And Nintendo has confirmed that they will be shipping, quote, significantly more of the SNES Classic than last year's NES Classic. So you can breathe a sigh of relief, right? Of course not. Nintendo went on to say that shipments are planned from release until the end of the calendar year, and nothing is planned post the end of 2017. Cue all of the "why doesn't Nintendo want my money" comments. If you follow my channel, you can probably assume that this wasn't a surprise for me, hopefully not for you guys either, as I called this before the NES Classic even launched, that Nintendo isn't trying to get into the business of selling these classic consoles, rather this is a method to get people talking about the Nintendo brand. A way to make major headlines. Yes, I believe you'll be seeing the SNES Classic featured on major news networks, and also top those hottest holiday gift lists, as once again the system launches close to the holidays, no coincidence. And please, don't kill the messenger here. You'd be surprised how many people think that I have some sort of affiliation with Nintendo. I'm not the one holding this stock back, I'm just trying to explain the logic to you. These classic consoles are tools to reach a greater means. I mean, they're $80 and still have manufacturing costs. You know, you need a factory to build the consoles and the controllers and then ship them out. And it's a one-time buy. The Switch is the long-term, slow-burning thing for them to profit off of. And that's what Nintendo really wants to sell. I mean, think of it this way. How much does it cost to buy ad time on TV or ad space like a billboard? These companies can easily sink millions into advertising. The SNES Classic will give Nintendo tons of free advertising through the holidays, as major news networks discuss it. You know, late night hosts will have it probably featured on their shows. Hell, even big names here on YouTube. And what will all that advertising cost Nintendo? Zero. Yes, it's Groundhog's Day all over again. No, people, Nintendo doesn't want everyone to have an NES Classic or an SNES Classic. Come this holiday, Nintendo wants to keep Nintendo Switches flying off the shelf, and this is a means to help those sales. And soon they're going to be trying to sell people on the Switch's paid online service with that whole Nintendo Netflix for classic games deal. They don't want you to already be taken care of in that department. Rather, they're expecting the SNES Classic to perform like the NES did before it. Again, it's a tool to trigger people's nostalgia feels. You know, make them say, hey, I remember Mario, I remember Zelda, you know, I do want to play those games again. But then, you go to buy one, and it won't be there. And Nintendo, almost like a drug dealer, can be there for you going, hey, well, you know, yeah, you can't buy the SNES Classic, but you know, we got this new Nintendo Switch system, kid, where you can play the new Mario and the new Zelda. And you know, you want to play those classic games? Don't worry, those are coming to this too. And it's portable to boot. Now here's where I take issue with Nintendo's practices, because obviously right now, there's one problem holding this whole deal back. People can't buy Nintendo Switches either. They better have, no joke, millions of these things, Switches that is, ready for the holidays with more on the way. As you can see, I get the sales tactic. People want things they can't have, which is a reason why many, perhaps even you, would buy a Nintendo Switch, an NES Classic, or an SNES Classic if you saw one in the store without hesitation, even if you're kind of on the fence about it, because you've been programmed to worry that you might not see it in the wild again. And for those of you who follow the channel, I'll cut it there. We don't need to get too much into the same topics that we discussed with the NES Classic, because that's really how I see this going. It's, going to be the NES Classic all over again. But now here's the benefit for those of you out there who just want the SNES Classic. You have the experience of the chaos from the NES version. To my knowledge, at the time of this recording, only a few retailers, I think in the UK, have listed pre-orders for this thing so far. So stay on top of it. Set notifications on for Twitter accounts like Cheap Ass Gamer, who will surely be on top of pre-orders when they drop. If you're watching videos like these, chances are you're probably already keeping a closer eye on the gaming industry than the average consumer, so just keep at it. Early pre-orders are typically your best chance at grabbing new hardware because many of the casuals probably haven't heard of it yet, but as we get closer to the actual release date, if you're trying to get it into a store, you're probably going to have more competition. And with that, this video's a wrap. Let me know your thoughts on the SNES Classic. Are you excited or perhaps more so eager to watch these events unfold yet again? And if you're a Switch owner, I'd love to know if you're really even that interested in this. I mean, myself, sure, I'd like to have these things as, a cute little tchotchke type thing to just have a small NES on it or SNES on the shelf. But in terms of actual use, I just don't see myself probably using these things if I'm going to be able to get, hopefully, I'm hoping that, the virtual console or this, supposed Nintendo Netflix type thing they've been pushing, I'm hoping that a lot of these games will be there at launch, or at least will be top contenders to be there at launch, and with the Switch allowing me to play these games either on the TV or on the go, I just don't see really the big draw as a Switch owner for this thing, but if you are, let me know, and let me know why in the comments. As always, I'm Zaccari, and thanks for watching.